On today's episode, I will talk about raised gardening versus traditional row gardens and why I am choosing the raised garden method.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Simple Gardening. I am here today to talk to you about why I'm choosing to do a raised garden this year versus a traditional row garden. I have done both. I have done a traditional row garden in the past, and I have done a small raised bed also in the past. And there are different things that I have found that I like better than the other. And then there are some things that I like the traditional row garden better than the raised garden. But here is my reasons why I am choosing to do a raised garden. And hopefully maybe if you guys are still undecided about which kind of garden you want this year, this will help you. The reasons that I am not going to do a traditional row garden this year is very simple. It has too many weeds. Last year I did a traditional row garden and it became weeds. I have had other traditional gardens that have done very well, but there were still weeds, but not as many weeds as I did last year, and which was crazy. So weeds is one of the biggest reasons why I'm not going to do a traditional row garden, because I don't have the time to keep up with it. The next thing is tilling. Tilling will bring up the weed seeds. So when we have to go out and find a plot out in our backyard to make a garden, you have to till it. That tilling will bring up all of those weed seeds, and therefore that's how you're going to get those weeds in your garden. And I don't want that. So another thing with the tilling is that you have to till up a big part of your yard to be able to get a good sized garden. So sometimes that's not even a good scenario either. Also, tilling, if you don't have an available tiller, then you have to rent one, or you have to find somebody that has one. And sometimes it can cost you quite a bit of money to be able to get your stuff tilled. So that's just not a good thing either. The next thing is the soil in your yard may not be the right consistency or the right mix of the things that you need. You need the nitrogen and the oxygen and there's so many different things you need in the soil, where some yards don't have quite the soil that you need. Some soils might have too much sand. Some soils might have too much clay. Some just might have just nothing. When you get a raised garden, you'll be able to mix all of the right nutrients and the right mixture into it so you can provide your garden off to a good start. Lastly, when you have a row garden, there's rows and rows and rows. And in between those rows is all the soil. And that's where you walk. But you walk so close to the seedlings and to the plants, all the soil gets compacted, and that's not good for the plants. They need that loose soil and that space to be able to grow and be able to produce things and make flowers and everything. So the row gardens, everything's compacted, so it's just really hard on the plants and the seedlings. The reasons why I am choosing a raised garden this year: one, it's going to look so much nicer than just a hole in the ground, really. I found some good timbers for free, actually. That's another video that I will do. But I found some timbers that I'm going to be able to build my raised gardens. And, the next thing is I'm going to be able to mix that soil with all the good nutrients and all the correct mixture to be able to have my plants start off so well. Another thing is, when you have a raised garden, you'll be able to put your own soil in, your own mixture, Therefore, you should not have the weed seedlings in that garden to have weeds. There might be some that blow in, but those are easier to pull than all the weeds that you have in a normal, regular garden bed. So that's my simple strategy, is to have that raised garden to get rid of those weeds as much as I can. When you build raised garden beds, you'll be able to, if you have a small yard, you can build small raised gardens. If you have a larger one, I suggest that you still make smaller raised gardens so you can reach everything, but make multiple of them. I am still in the process of what I am going to do. That will be another video as well, is how I am planning out my backyard. With the snow right now in the middle of February, I can't get back there because I'm pretty sure it's about knee deep. So I can't get back to my backyard to be able to measure everything and see where everything's gonna go. But I do have some ideas, and I do have them on a computer program that I will show you in another video. So I have different ideas, and I'm gonna have multiple garden beds just because I will be able to plant that much more and be able to have a succession planning, and it's just gonna look so much nicer in the neighborhood because I do live in a small town where I have neighbors. And so with a garden that has weeds, it does not look very good. The next thing is, it's a little easier if you have a raised garden to be able to keep out some critters. Some critters may, they can jump and they may not be able to get in there, but this should help a little bit, and you will be able to put out a fence around the raised garden as well as the traditional row gardens. But I found that the traditional row gardens, I had a really, really large fence around one of them that I had, and that was just a lot of fencing and a lot of work. So hopefully having smaller beds and being up off the ground, there won't be as many critters, especially chipmunks and gophers, because that was one of my problems for many years, and it was crazy. That's why one of my gardens was a raised bed, because I needed those chipmunks and gophers out of my garden. They were eating everything. When you grow a vegetable garden in a raised bed, you'll be able to get so much more plants and everything in that garden plot, because you don't have to make those rows that you have to walk down. So you'll be able to make, sure that every square inch of that garden bed is used. One of my things that I want to do this year is I'm going to try square foot gardening. I bought the book by Mel Bartholomew. I'll link that below. And I'll have another video probably on it as well, because I'm really excited for it. But it talks about square foot gardening and how you do it, and just, this book is awesome. I have highlighted things, I have bookmarked pages, but it's going to make you have more plants within the garden so you can use every inch. And that will also prevent weeds coming up, because if there's foliage within that flower bed, the shade and everything will keep those weeds at bay. So that's my hope. The last thing I want to talk about is when you want to do spring gardening. I'm here in Wisconsin, zone 5. The last frost date is like in the beginning-ish, middle-ish of May. So it's hard to be able to grow things in the ground when the last frost date is in May. In a raised garden bed, you'll be able to plant things sooner, because that soil in there will warm up so much faster than the soil that you have in the ground. So that's what I'm really excited for, because I am learning so much from all the research I've been doing, all the YouTube videos I've been watching. But I should be able to start growing stuff especially this year, because I have to put together my raised beds and I have to put together the soil to go in it. But I should be able to start like carrots and radishes, beets, all the root vegetables, all the cool weather plants, probably in April. But I have to make sure the snow is gone. So fingers crossed that I can do this in April, which will yield my crop so much more than if I had to start everything after the last frost date in May. I hope you have gotten a lot of tips out of this and why I'm going to start a raised garden versus a traditional row garden. But I want to hear from you guys in the comments of what kind of gardens that you have in your yards. Why are you considering them? Maybe I have completely missed something of why I should have a traditional row garden, but I'd like to hear from you and just tell me why you're having a traditional row garden, or why are you having a raised garden? I'd love to know. I'd love to learn more. So I hope this video has made you kind of think a little bit more about your garden needs for the summer, for this year. And yeah, so please subscribe, and in that subscribe button, make sure you click on that bell, ring the bell, so you can get the notifications when I have a new video come out. Please like this video, because the more likes, the more I am thumbs up. So thank you so much for sharing this time with me, for me to be able to tell you why I'm having a raised garden versus a traditional row garden. So we'll see you guys next time.